hitting the record button right now. I totally forgot. Did I send you that for real talk? Did I send you the picture of the guy the other day? I did, didn't I? I sent it to you, didn't I? Or did I send it to Dave?
Picture of a guy.
My neighbor?
Oh, yes, you sent it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if I sent it to you or not.
Record. He has a record.
He does now. Yeah, so
this is on Easter, right?
It happened on Easter. And yeah, so I don't know. Did I ever tell the story on here what happened?
No.
I don't think I did.
Well, no. Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember if I did or didn't, but if you're listening to this and you didn't hear the story, or you did hear the story, I apologize, but I have to tell the story in order to tell you what happened here recently. So a neighbor 2 doors down who decided drunkenly one night to come over because, long story short, I watched his teenage son whip the back of their dog in the neck with its collar. And I don't mean whip it in the back of the neck. I mean straight tried to decapitate this dog. And you know me, I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I yelled at the kid and I yelled some profanities because it was deserving. Well, the drunk ass dumb dad fucking came over, threatened me and Lauren, yelled at us, was literally half his body's over the fence. Well, I mean, obviously, and Carlisle wasn't as big at the time, but I have a 140-pound monster killing machine. And at the time, I think Carlisle was probably, 110, 120 pounds maybe. Well, the guy reaches over the fence, Carlisle grabs his hand, which I don't even know if he actually ever cut his hand open because the dude is just a fucking tool bag. But anyway, it was this whole fucking thing. I had to call the cops because he's threatening us and the whole thing. And then that whole thing kind of fizzled out. Anyway.
Yeah, he wanted to kill your dog.
Threatened to put a bullet in my dog's head. And then I had a few choice words about that as well. And so things kind of escalated. And then I called him Dad Bod a few times. And that really made him upset. I was like, just go sleep it off, Dad Bod. And he's like, what'd you just say to me? I was like, it's all right, Dad Bod, just go ahead. Go home, sleep it out. You'll be fine. I was like, you're just drunk right now. It's okay. And that just added, you know how that is. Just adds fuel to the fire. But anyway, so he finally traipses back home. And that was last year. Fast forward to this Easter. And Lauren and I noticed that over the course of the past 2 weeks, that there's been a sheriff's officer who's been coming to their house every afternoon. We're like, what the fuck? And we also noticed that his car was no longer at the house. So, Lauren just goes down this deep fucking rabbit hole trying to figure out what's going on. Couldn't find anything, couldn't figure anything out. But 2 weeks had passed and she's still looking because her and I kept talking. We're like, well, it's kind of weird because he had kids with a previous wife and she had kids with the previous husband. So they kind of have a blended family. And we noticed that when the kids get off the bus that some of the kids are missing now. So something has to be going on. Well, come to find out, Lauren through her due diligence and her PI detective skills, found out that he got arrested for domestic violence and also violation of a restraining order. So he got arrested on Easter. What a great time. And the funny thing is too, he got arrested on Easter, but I remember Easter, they had a bunch of people at their house. So it's what happened? What went down? Something happened, right?
Yeah.
So then, Lauren's whole thought was okay, great, he got arrested, but he's just going to come back home and it's going to be back to this this fucking asshole of a guy, asshole of a neighbor, clearly asshole of a husband, probably an asshole and fucking cunt of a dad. It's just going to come back home eventually. And it's okay, then this cycle continues. Well, she also found today that the wife actually filed for divorce. So they're actually officially getting a divorce now. So he's gone. Out of the picture gone.
It must have been bad what happened.
Oh, well, first of all, of course.
Part of me wants to believe, and I don't want to speculate, because there's no sense in speculating when you don't know the truth.
Of course.
But you want to speculate.
Yeah.
So my thinking is if I was a mother, unless this was an ongoing domestic abuse thing, the one thing that would for sure put the last nail in the coffin for why I would get a divorce is if he hit the kids.
Yeah. I even said that. I was I wouldn't put it past, because all it says is domestic violence. It doesn't say against two.
Yeah.
So it could potentially be a kid. I know he beat the dogs. I told you that before that incident even happened. I watched
poor
him
bulldog.
I watched him literally beat the dog. Both of them, multiple times. obviously a guy that clearly has anger issues. He's also like, he was the head of something at like the local YMCA, but now if you go onto their site, his old position just says TBD. So he's not a part of that anymore either. So yeah, so the whole time.
What if he's like director of social conduct?
It'd be hilarious. By the way, he is the vice president of a bank. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to play out. So anyway, knew he was a piece of shit all along. Literally, if you look at the mugshot, he just looks evil. And now he's gone. Like he's out of the picture, which is great.
I wish all of his roles just had this humanitarian aspect to it that is so removed from his personality. Like, he worked at the bank. He was VP of Human Resources. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, and an interesting turn of events, John Wayne Gacy was a clown.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
And he fucked young kids and killed them.
Yep.
And put them in his crawl space.
Yep. That's true.
So I'm personally relieved because it had been, between her and I, a point of contention as far as like moving out of this house, because our whole thing is like we don't want to live in a place where there's shitty neighbors. We're still young. And we want to enjoy the people that are around us. And the good thing is like we're fairly spread out here, but not enough so to where you wouldn't like see the neighbors all day.
You can still kind of see dirty laundry.
Yeah, they're like
neighbors.
They're right there, right? We're not surrounded by a forest or anything. And I think it made her feel a lot better about staying here for a more long term, instead of just like,
how bad is
all right, as soon as like September hits, let's move. September being our 2-year mark here, and of course not getting hit with capital gains tax if you sell the home. Whole reason for maybe moving in September. But now it sounds like we'll probably stay here for a little while.
How sad is that one person can ruin your...
They do, dude. I always say you can't pick your neighbors. And it's just a shitty... And our whole thing was like, it wasn't like, okay, we're in fear of there's going to be multiple incidences. It's just if something else happens, like we know that we have a big scary dog, even though you know him. He's big. Not scary at all. No. Like he's a giant teddy bear. But we understand the perception around that, and we can't have neighbors who we have rifts with like potentially harming, our animals or putting our animals in harm's way by calling the cops or whatever else, any falsehoods. It's just like we didn't want to deal with that. It's not worth the hassle. But there you have it.
That's crazy.
Piece of shit went to jail.
Well,
he was in jail for a little while.
That's karma for you, man.
It's karma, but I almost kind of feel bad for the family too and the wives. Like the wife, and then when Lauren went over the first time, she's like treated her like shit. And then now part of me is like, well, maybe she just has a fucking horrible life, Maybe it's because her husband's such a fucking piece of shit.
100% can be that. Because
like, I kind of feel bad for her.
There's like, what's crazy is surrounding, like, there's a lot of talk of like you surround yourself with people that either bring you up or bring you down. And people that you associate with that bring you down can have such a strong influence on you from their toxicity, their negative outlooks. Like you end up becoming that same person.
Yeah. Even
if you were different than that. So it's like, dude, you got to surround yourself with the right people, and then include your husband.
Yeah, no shit. Shouldn't pick that one wrong, didn't she?
Because I can imagine just like this Amber Heard thing and
dude, that's the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. Did you hear him give the testimony about when she shit in the bed?
Yes.
It's like it's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
But a lot of people say he's a genuinely good dude, but there's obviously been things that make you question that from the things that she apparently has evidence on, like his attitude, his anger and stuff. But part of me is like, dude, could you imagine if even if Johnny did experience that, even if he admitted that he has anger issues and drinking problems, do you think Amber Heard made that worse or better?
Oh, definitely made it worse. She shit in his bed.
So,
she took a human shit.
That's just a perfect example of the influence another person has in
she cut his finger off.
Inner circle, right? Yeah, I know. So it's like
it's fucking wild.
It's like if he wasn't batshit crazy before, he sure as hell is now.
Yeah. Well, he was batshit crazy before, dude.
Look
at the roles he plays. Of course he's batshit crazy. He dresses like his character in Pirates of the Caribbean. He is Jack Sparrow in real life. Where's all the fucking bracelets? Where's the eyeliner and shit? His Jack Sparrow character has morphed into him in real life.
Yeah.
Which is really, I like Johnny Depp. And the more that you see her and hear her testimony and all the things that have come out, like they have, multiple people on, including Jason Momoa, because they're making Aquaman 2, which she has a part in. He has petitioned openly to get her out of the movie because he said she's batshit crazy and she's like the worst human being to work with. So everything is erring towards the side of like, I would say, in favor of Johnny Depp and less of Amber Heard. The more that comes out, people are like, oh, she's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Also, super subpar actress, for being honest.
Well, I just saw
Not
her
great.
testimony where she was up there, and she's to me.
Did you see her snort the cocaine out of the tissue paper?
No, but here's the thing:
It looked real.
An adult learns when they grow up how to tell truth from fiction, and that comes with how like people treat us, like emotionally, like how they respond emotionally, like when someone's genuinely laughing or when someone's genuinely crying. We get good at recognizing the truth of those emotions and expressions. The more we see them from people, right?
Sure.
So, is it just me? And I'm sure there's tons of other people that have already given this analysis. But is it just me, or is Amber Heard really putting on that fake emotional?
Dude, it's so fake. If you watch just 5 minutes of it, you know it's fake.
Like her frowny clown face?
She does, dude, she has got a weird looking face.
She does frowny clown face.
Did you see the thing where like their paths almost crossed after the court was dismissed? Like he was walking towards her just to go. She like freaked. Yeah, she jumped back. She's like, of course. It's like, you fuck. Oh, she is a fucking turd Ferguson and a half. What a fucking horrible human being. Also, you gonna fuck with Johnny Depp? Come on, this is Johnny Depp.
Yeah, no.
We can make fun of his rules, but he's still Johnny Depp. He was Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. Yeah,
no way she's winning that one.
I have a hard time believing her, and it's in that.
No one believes her. No one believes her. And also, this total side subject. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry, and if she is genuine, I mean, that's some of the weirdest emotional expressions I've ever seen from a human being.
I don't think she is.
It seems so forced.
I don't think she is.
Seems fake.
Well, I was going to say side topic, but also kind of related because it's celebrity news, where Dave Chappelle got tackled on stage. Did you see how bad they beat that dude?
Broke his arm, I think.
Dude, they fucking smashed his face, all thing else. And the LA prosecutor's like, yeah, we're not going to charge him. How fucked up is that? Because of some political bullshit, the LA County prosecutor's like, we're not going to charge the guy. Oh, he just assaulted somebody on a stage. You're not going to charge him for it?
I mean, the guy got shit beat out of him. He got
pummeled. That was bad. I mean, Dave Chappelle's already a big dude. And then you had like Method Man, and then who else was with him? There was someone else, Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx was there in a cowboy hat.
All the guys that could beat the fuck out of you in Hollywood, you tackled one of them, and they were all there.
They swarmed the stage for you.
The funny thing is Chris Rock was there. I think that's even more hilarious because he came out on stage and he goes, holy shit, was that Will Smith? Just really funny. I thought that was a great response. Anyway, we should probably zippity zoom on through this. We do have some cigar news. Actually, obviously we skipped the last week. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to have some weeks, I think, coming up too, that I'm going to have to skip, which is kind of a sad thing for me, but it is what it is. I'm sorry. I've got vacation coming up, and maybe we just do the show when I get back. Can I do one before and when I get back?
We could preload.
I could probably do that. Yeah, I'd probably do another show. But anyway, let's get into the news. All right, cigar news today. Here we go. This is one of my favorite ones, and I was so excited to talk about this. Lost and Found changes company model, launches 15 minutes of fame. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole thing about what they're doing with the model as far as repackaging things that have been sitting on shelves for fucking 20 years, but I am going to say the original Lost and Found, and of course this one named the 15 minutes of fame, what I like about this news article the most is this was kind of shots fired at Privada Cigar, who actually had rights to this cigar in the beginning. This was the infamous, and I say infamous because it was infamous, cookie cigar that came out through one of the Privada releases. This is the same cigar, obviously. Lost and Found, which is Robert Caldwell of Caldwell Cigars, is re-releasing this as 15 Minutes of Fame. It is a Lancero cigar. I actually have one downstairs. I'm excited to smoke it because I never actually got to smoke the Cookie Monster. So I'm excited to smoke the cigar just to see how well it actually did. Now he's MSRPing this at $8. One of the things that he was, and Robert Caldwell, and this is open, if you have been paying attention at all in the cigar community, you'll know that he is shooting many shots at Brian Desmond and Privada Cigar Club. Appeared to be upset at the expensive price that Privada Cigar Club was offering the cigar at initially. It was a $12 price point, which is, of course, why he did the 15 Minutes of Fame at $8, $4 less expensive than the previous releases. So it is interesting, and I think you're going to continue seeing some of this beef between both organizations. It's, again, I'm not saying anything that's not known. I mean, there's posted comments. You and I, we saw one where it's just funny. It's funny when I hear, and listen, this is not going to be a bash fest. I'm just going to say something that is fucking out there, is known. There's evidence. It's proof, where you have someone like Brian Desden who says, can't we all just get along and smoke cigars? And then constantly pokes at every single person who isn't in his corner. And I think that's a very interesting thing from somebody who says, can't we just all get along and smoke cigars together? Because I do agree with what he said. I agree with that statement. Yeah. Let's just all get along. Folks, smoke some fucking cigars. We can all live around here peacefully. Everybody can have their own space. Sometimes those spaces intertwine, and that's cool too. That's how you get collaboration. But then it seems like all these things that happen, that either he gets poked or intentionally provokes or pokes at somebody else, is just counter to that initial statement. Yeah. So it is kind of weird. But I am excited to smoke the cigar because I did hear it was a really good cigar. I just never really had a chance to smoke the first one because at the time, I don't know how many of these made it to the stores. I think some of them did as far as the LCA stuff. I just never got my hands on one. So I'm excited just to smoke it objectively and say, okay, 15 Minutes of Fame now, or Cookie Monster, whatever it may be. I'm excited to smoke it and just see what it's all about. Again, because I did hear it was good. So interesting release, interesting position from Caldwell on this particular cigar. There's a lot of stuff in the news. EP Carrillo and Plasencia team up for Inch Nicaragua. Now,
wait, what?
Yeah, so they have, EP Carrillo has the Inch line, which has always been a pretty good line of theirs, but now they're doing a Nicaraguan release, which is going to be exclusively made by Plasencia.
That doesn't make sense. Inch? Yet I see a 5 7/8. An inch, and I see a 6 1/8. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. I think you misunderstood the exact nature of
this is like going to
the cigar itself.
It's like going to the dollar store and you see a bunch of .99s.
You know what is interesting? You know what is interesting about that is that, like, it's okay. EP Carrillo Inch Nicaragua, which is going to be made by Plasencia. So EP Carrillo is working with Nestor to come up with these cigars. What I find interesting about it, though, is like we know Plasencia cigars and the best tobacco used typically command a pretty high price point, sometimes north of $20, more often than not. These are priced very competitively if you look at the sizes.
Prices are pretty solid.
You're talking $10, $11, $12 price points. So I'm looking at it and saying, well, EP Carrillo isn't going to sacrifice, because they make some of the best cigars ever made, sacrifice quality and flavor. So part of me is looking at it going, well, what are they going to get for this money? Like, what is the consumer going to get for this money? So I'm interested to see what they do with the line. I do like the Inch line. So pretty cool that that's coming out and that they're doing something with Plasencia, which is one of my favorites.
But what's the Inch?
It's the Inch, baby.
Like, what does it mean?
It's the only thing that can fit in. Just an inch. That's all you need to get her going. Just an inch.
And it's all capital letters. So do you yell it? Inch!
Yeah. But there's no exclamation point.
That's true.
Caps don't mean shouting.
So maybe it's anger.
Inch! Could be. 4 Kicks Mule Kick hits the shelves. The LE 2022, the Mule Kick LE 2022, which we reviewed a couple weeks back.
Bomb ass.
So finally hit the shoes. Fucking amazing cigar. I am going to be buying a box of this. I'm very excited for this to hit local shelves. I haven't been to a humidor in a while because I haven't been home. But
I'm just gonna ask.
I need to go get one.
John for a box of those.
Can you just send me a whole box of this limited edition cigar that every single human being wants at this particular moment in time? Oh, look at this. Another price increase from Louisiana. Going to skip right over that one. Cigar imports for the premium cigar world exceed January. This is January 2022 versus January 2021. Exceed by 4%. So 4% growth in the cigar. Now, most of that is made up by Honduran and Nicaraguan tobacco. Actually, a pretty steep decline in Dominican tobacco. I think part of that is because factories were shut down, limited product, limited production. Of course, you're not going to get as many to the United States, but you have Nicaragua and Honduras that is more than made up for that. So it's interesting when you hear people in the cigar industry say the cigar industry is dying, but yet we continue seeing reportedly over and over, month over month, year over year, that it continues to increase. So how is that possible?
Well, I don't think people realize that a lot of plants died too. A lot of plants got COVID. So,
it was harsh on plants.
You don't think that's
entire forestry wiped out due to COVID-19.
You might think that's fake news, but tobacco plants get COVID.
That ain't fake news.
Could you imagine seeing those in headline? Tobacco plants get COVID.
Dude, we'd all be fucked.
We'd all be so
What happens is just like a plant just withers away. Or maybe gets a few bumps on it. Like, I don't know. How does it affect? Do you imagine walking past a tree and it's just like... You're like, what the fuck?
It's like, where did they come from?
La Karim Bellicoso Finos 2022 shipping this month. Dude, this is one of my favorite limited edition cigars, but why is it even limited edition? Because it's literally been out for 4 fucking years. Just make it a regular production.
That's so good.
Dude, one of my favorite Vitolas, one of my favorite cigars. This is like the ultimate dessert cigar. It is one of my favorite cigars to smoke. Hands fucking down. I love this cigar so much. So every time it comes out, and I think I still have some of the 18, some of the 19, some of the 20. I think it was every year, right? Since 2018.
We've had them every year.
I think I have every single one of them.
You still have them?
I still have some.
Wow.
I still have some of each.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I fucking love this cigar so much. I mean, I think John sent us a box.
Apparently not well enough to smoke them.
Well, I think I only have one of each left.
Yeah, so you're keeping them as a memorabilia piece.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, nothing has changed in the blend. So 2022, I believe the same. I don't really want to click in to find out, but it should be the same as all the others, which always ends up being such a magical cigar. It's so good.
I just love how it looks like a bullet you can fit into a 50 cal rifle.
Yeah, it really does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's got like the primer on the back.
Like that. I mean, it's a Bellicoso, so
looks like a bullet.
Yeah,
super good though.
It's definitely one of those releases that I get excited when it's, of course, announced the next year of it coming out, because it really is, I don't know, it's like this cigar to me has become such a cool staple in the Crown Heads lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't need to be like the Mule Kick, and it doesn't need to be like the Las Calaveras every year where the blend changes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that it's like, this is what it is, it stays the same, but we're going to re-release this specific Bellicoso every single year. And there's always like, there's always an appreciation from Crown Heads fans. Like when this cigar comes out, they're just like, fuck yeah. I mean, it's such a good cigar, and it really is, again, one of the best dessert cigars I've ever had. Like, I love smoking this cigar like late at night, after you eat like a big meal. This is like one of the best to smoke. Yeah. Especially when you have some bourbon on hand. Oh my God. There's nothing better. It's just absolutely really, really good take on Connecticut broadleaf. It's fucking magic. It's just so well done. So happy to see that is coming back in 2022, and hopefully will continue to come back. That's pretty much all I had for news. I was thinking about something earlier. Think about this. I was thinking, we had some, stay with me on this. This is going to sound weird. We had some fabric softener show up.
Yeah. Swift or Whiff?
No, I don't know. It's like some organic shit. And I was thinking about fabric softener.
Okay.
Too much. I was standing in my pantry just thinking about fabric softener for like 5 minutes. And I started to think that how similar our clothes are to us as human beings.
What do you mean?
When it comes to like washing.
Okay.
So they go under the washer.
Right.
And they get detergent, shampoo.
Okay.
And then they get some fabric softener, conditioner.
Right.
And they get clean. Then they go in the dryer. Dry off with the towel.
Yeah.
Clothes are very similar to us in terms of how they get washed.
Yeah.
Did you find that weird?
It is kind of strange. It makes you wonder, why can't we just shower with our clothes on?
You could just condition your clothes.
You could just condition it.
That's fabric softener, baby.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Then I started thinking about why towels also have to dry. Their whole responsibility is to dry.
Yeah.
But they also have to be dried. And then I was wondering, is there ever going to be something, and I don't mean like a hand blower.
Yeah.
I meant like something that you can wipe off with that you'll never have to dry.
Something to dry off with a wet towel.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Did you ever think about that? That towels also have to be dried?
Yeah.
Could you use a towel to dry another towel?
And without their dryness,
that would be weird.
You can't dry you.
I know. It's very strange.
And you can't keep your towel too close to the shower because then your towel starts to get damp anyway because of all the humidity.
Right. Do you ever watch that show? It was like a show back in like the early 2000s. Those dudes were like penny pinchers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy that would wash napkins and wash paper towels and reuse them. You ever remember that? And then he would use like, he would grow certain foods, and like basically would use every single part of everything. And like let's just say it was like a cut of meat, no matter what it was, whether it was a bone, whether it was the meat, whether it was fat, it was all being used. It was like super highly used everything. Like it's weird to use a napkin and then to turn around and gently wash a napkin to where it doesn't fall apart and then put it on a clothes hanger to dry.
Yeah, and then there's like
it's a very strange
people
thing.
that like reuse mouthwash. You seen that shit?
That is not true.
That's gotta be true.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up. You're fucking stupid. I knew you were fucking. Remember what you said earlier? You know, as an adult, when someone lies, you just inherently can tell that they're lying. That you grew up with the maturity to understand when people lie. That was me just then. I immediately knew you were lying.
What if you looked it up right now?
Oh, I'm sure people have reused mouthwash, but it's not a thing.
No.
It's not like a common occurrence.
Neither is washing napkins.
It was on a fucking show. They watched the guy. They documented him.
I know, but what we're saying
No, there's a lot of people that do that.
Really?
There's more people that reuse paper towels and napkins there are that reuse their mouthwash. Also, it's very possible that guy also reused mouthwash. Probably. If we're being honest, definitely reused mouthwash.
That dude.
Reuse toothpaste, just spit it back into a bucket and then just like let it harden and then just scooped it back out. Just brushed again. Isn't that gross?
Or the guy that fills up his bathtub and bathes in it, but then like reuses that same bath water like a couple days later.
Ugh. Could you imagine?
Just soapy suds on top of it.
Yeah, but at least he bathes. Some people don't even bathe.
That's true. You get Frito balls.
Ugh, gross.
Nothing worse than a man with Frito balls. There's nothing worse than a woman. Well, we know how that smells. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
fuck, dude.
Yeah, I attribute to a tree. There's these trees at my college, my old college.
Yeah, those vagina trees.
We call them vagina trees.
Yeah, they're the ones that all the white
bloom flowers.
Yeah.
And every spring that came around, man,
the air just filled with vaggie.
It made me want to be so gay.
This is what it's gonna be like.
This is what I gotta deal with.
Yeah, damn, those fucking stinky ass trees.
I'll take Frito balls, man. I'll take that over vagina trees.
I was talking with someone about that the other day. Her main name was about the idea of having a threesome, 2 guys and a girl, and then the first position you are is the one where the balls are bashing together.
Oh, I can't do it.
And it's like, how much ball bashing do you do until you're just like, I can't do this anymore?
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I've often thought about that would just be like a really, if you're a porn star and they're just like, hey, Mike, get on top of Dan. And you're both just like, God damn, we got to mash balls together again.
And they're like,
and they go forever too. Like, that's the thing.
And they're not like firm, so they just kind of like flop. And if they have bigger balls, their balls envelop your balls, and then your balls are inside of their balls.
It just reminds me of those like pendulum things where it's like,
yeah.
Like, and it's just balls swinging.
Yeah.
All the while, there's this girl underneath you that's getting DP'd.
Like, if I had 2 nuts, right? I got grapes. I have small balls, but I got 2 grapes, right?
Yeah.
The last thing I want is to do with big old nut sacks that like
engulfing your
just
balls.
Engulf. Like his big old testes are giving mine a big old bear hug. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, like your balls are little spoon, his balls are big spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good.
No.
No one wants that. No one wants jingle balls between 2 guys.
Yeah.
Dude, 2 balls are too much. 4 balls, you got yourself a ball quorum. You can't have that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to go over tales of cigar lounges, some things, crazy stories. Not crazy stories, but there's a few stories we have. Cigar lounges, we haven't really talked about this before. I have a few good choice stories, so I can't wait to tell them. And then a few people had told us theirs as well from our Discord page. So we're going to get into that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at you guys in just a minute. Hang tight.
I'm getting to the point now, my age, my health, the fact that, I've gotten all this social anxiety that I don't even want to leave my house anymore. The thing is, like, I still want to smoke cigars at home, but I sure as shit do not want to leave my home.
Yeah, well, you're perpetually sick, so there's a societal responsibility that you have as well.
I just wish there was like some way for me to like buy cigars without having to think about it.
I think I have the medicine for you. My Cigar Pack. Curated packs come straight to your door every single month.
Is it
5-pack of cigars, specially handpicked for you. And you can also subscribe to the Factory Direct program and get cigars that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, as long as it covers the Omicron variant, I'm good.
I heard they show up in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that safety and protection are at top of mind.
That's
so
good.
You can visit My Cigar Pack, www.mycigarpack.com, just for all their options. Again, that's www.mycigarpack.com. All right, we're back. Here we go.
Hi.
Here we go. Really want to talk I wanted to get out of the monotony of like cigar reviews and all that. I've been doing a lot of that recently, and just kind of wanted to switch things up. And we had this idea of just getting feedback, and this is relatively last minute, so hopefully we can make this like an ongoing thing, because I know a lot of crazy stories exist in the cigar world, either what you've experienced smoking a cigar at a cigar lounge, and we solicited a few stories from folks that are on our Discord page. And we're going to go through those. And I have a few funny things myself.
You thinking of the lady with the tattoos on the backs of her calves?
Yeah. I knew you would do the same story. That's one of my friends. And I have one from Chicago too, where I saw a guy get kicked out of a cigar lounge for something pretty funny.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit to go over. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Discord folks first. So Andre, who has been a longtime listener to the podcast, he's our friend over from Sweden. And I really like this one because it's not that it's crazy. Some of the things are, partly crazy, but it's one of those things that when you see it, it's a laughable moment for anyone who's like experienced in smoking cigars. So he said he used to work in a cigar lounge in Sweden, so he'd see people smoking through the cedar sleeve or the bands and then tissue paper that they use to wrap, like Clee uses the tissue paper.
Yeah.
Seeing people snorting coke, a customer mooning a cigar wrap. And of course, he has a picture, which you can see right down here below, of one of the shop owners hanging out with some folks with their shirts off, like Bert Kreischer style, which I think is funny. That to me is like more funny, and it's like having a good time. But I do want to address the whole smoking through the cedar sleeve.
Me too.
So what I can imagine, and I've seen people smoke through bands before all the time. Cedar sleeve, that's totally different. That's a cedar sleeve. Those things they're typically 3.5, 4 inches long.
Yeah, and the tissue is 3 or 4 inches long.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to me that like people actually did that. And of course, you're not doing it intentionally, which means you're newer to smoking cigars and you're just kind of like, look at me go through the cedar sleeve.
But how much of everybody around them were the assholes that could have told them to take it off?
That's me. I would never say a word. I would never say a word. I'd go, look at that idiot.
Clearly.
No, actually, I think I would. I think I'd be like, hey.
I was like, take that off.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Like me, like I couldn't. Like I want more people inclusive of the industry, right? And that seems kind of like. Doesn't that seem kind of like hazing?
It does, but also it's like you
to their own ignorance.
But you also just want to watch it happen because it's not. I don't think there's no toxicity to it, so it's not. Other than like if they get in their lungs, it's gonna suck. But listen, it's gonna burn. But it would be so funny.
But when you burn wood out at a campfire, you're not huffing the smoke because what would happen? You would start hacking because of the harshness of the burnt wood.
I know. Well, and also too, it's like what I think would be even more funny in a situation where you see someone like specifically talk about the cedar sleeve, because that one to me would be the funniest. Mostly for the fact that like someone's gonna be smoking that, and they're gonna be like, this cigar is pretty delicious. Yeah. I'm getting notes of. They would get everything but notes of cedar. Yeah, which would be the irony in it.
That's true.
But I do think it's really funny because I've seen. It's different if you're smoking through the band because Skip Martin does that with Roma Craft cigars. The dude always smokes through the Roma Craft bands, at least from what I remember
saying. If we see it, we call him out.
Yeah, it's just like, so some people, I guess, just do it. It's not like Skip Martin's a dumb and just fucking doesn't know what he's doing.
No, we love you.
He just does it. I still proclaim that the reason he does it is because that damn sub band that they put on their cigars, the white one, is impossible to fucking take off. So
I believe that.
Fuck it.
I believe that.
He just goes, I'm going to smoke through
it. Like with the Intemperance or the Cro-Magnons.
They're so hard to pull off. So I do think that's funny. Snorting coke. I could see that in a cigar lounge. Like if you're at a high-end establishment, I could definitely see some people fucking powdering their beaks a little bit at a cigar lounge. I don't think that's anything too crazy.
But which is strange is here's what doesn't make sense about that though. Nicotine is a relaxer.
Kind of, but I think nicotine amps you up.
I don't think it does.
I think it provides focus, dude. I there's times where I do nicotine because I'm like wanting to like get some serious focus.
I think it even kills you, man. I think because that's why they like prescribed cigarettes to like the military soldiers back in the day because the effects of nicotine on their stress levels. So they'd give them a pack of cigarettes to smoke.
I don't think that's true.
I think it's true. We should look that one up too.
We knew you're fucking
I'm going to keep throwing out, myths.
Yeah, we're going to know you're still
But here's the thing. But I feel like that's like the same idea of like cocaine and alcohol or cocaine and something. You got this upper and downer thing.
It's not good.
That's not smart. That's not smart.
I'm still going to say that nicotine increases your heart rate, dum-dum.
But I think it relaxes you.
Those are not synonymous things.
Well, it might not seem that way. But when you think about stress levels.
Yeah, hey, Chris, you know what? I'm always relaxed when my fucking heart rate's at 185. I'm always in my most zen chill moment. When my heartbeat is literally, my heart's coming out of my chest. That's when I'm most relaxed.
I don't think that has anything to do with your heart rate.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep making me angry, and let's see what happens in my fucking heart rate. Do you want to check?
That's different.
How is it different?
Are you angry when you're working out?
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes,
Get out of here with that shit. Get out of here.
It just went from 74 to 82, you son of a bitch. 74 to 82.
Get out of here.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep making me mad. Keep making me mad.
You're like the Hulk.
I'm going to fucking Hulk out on you. Dude, increased heart rate for sure is not relaxing and calming. I can't even fucking talk to you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one, it comes from our buddy Cal. This is really funny. He goes, more than one occasion, a dude has tried to convince me to come home for fun with either them and their wife, or with their wife while they watched.
Oh, wow.
Not at my usual shops and not the same shops. Holy shit. That's a fucking good one.
That is. How does that?
That's never happened to me before. And I feel like I'm totally fuckable.
What type of grooming questions would they have to do to be like, because this happened to him multiple times.
So
this tells me there's something about his answers to these people.
And also, I do want to make it clear, I know for a fact Cal is not lying.
I know.
Because he's the most genuine human being on earth.
So part of me is like, what is it about his looks or his answers to them that they go like, oh, he's a candidate? Like, because you would never just come out and say that randomly.
No,
you would groom them. You would
have to assess the situation.
You would have to assess the feasibility that this person may be into a polyamorous
unbeknownst to him, he's filling out an application for them.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and they review it on site.
What if they were just like, how big's your dick? And he's like, 8 inches. And they're like, you're in. And he can't figure out why. I don't know why this keeps happening to me.
They keep inviting me to these parties.
Or he goes into the lounge with a loose pair of sweatpants and you see his dick outline, the dick print.
Every time I go to the lounge with assless chaps, they keep inviting me to these swinger parties. I don't get it.
Cal's got a hog on him and everyone can see it through his pants and he doesn't know. He's completely oblivious to the fact that like these horny men and their wives are sitting in there watching him. This big dick just swinging about.
It's like, I don't get why I keep getting invited. I keep showing these random people all these photos of every single girlfriend I have right now, and they keep inviting me to these parties, these swinger parties.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe, some people, and I do really believe this is one of those weird traits about people. I am not one of those people.
No.
Some people are just really approachable, where that if they're seen in public, everyone goes, I need to talk to that person.
Yeah.
I'm not that
me,
person.
Not me.
Holy shit. Dude, most people are like, I actually had someone tell me at hockey last week that because of the way I looked and my attitude when I walked around, that they just thought before they started playing with me, thought I was the biggest asshole on earth. I was like, you know what? I'm not surprised because I really do look like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, but
it's kind of funny, actually.
There's a saying.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Can we stop with the fucking sayings? You and your fucking philosophical bullshit. I can't handle it.
I would rather be a monster. Wait, I'd rather.
I'd rather be a monster than a good person. We know.
No, it's something like I would rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Does that make sense?
No. No. Because you're lying again.
No.
You would rather be a war in a garden?
Warrior.
Oh, warrior.
I'd rather be a warrior tending to a garden than a gardener in a war. Does that make sense?
That's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Get the fuck out. Just
hey, listen. The other people say it better. I'm just trying to get the clip
Here's
notes.
what we're gonna do now. We're gonna have a timeout box in this room, and every time you say something fucking dumb, I'm putting you in timeout. Actually, you know what? I can mute your microphone. I'm just gonna mute your mic.
Would it be acceptable for me to move my mouth over here?
No, you're unsure. I'm seriously thinking about muting your mic right now.
All right,
you're in a 2-minute fucking timeout.
I'll shut up.
Jesus Christ! Would you rather be? At first, I thought you said, "Would you rather be a worm and a gardener?"
A worm in a garden,
or a garden, or a garden in a war. And I was like, "What the fuck does it even mean?" It's not even a real. No one ever fucking said that. One person said that and published it in like some stupid book, and you're like, you hear that profound saying that everyone said for centuries? No, no one's ever said that. You know, one gardener said that one time, and guess what? He's only ever been a gardener, and he's definitely dead. Jesus Christ. I like, what's the one? Oh yeah, this guy says, so Mitch goes, I see people do coke all the time, and
it's so crazy.
And some ass every once in a while. Soaking spargans is a new mistake. I agree. That's the cocaine one I think is interesting to me, but I also think it depends on what lounge you're at. Like there are levels to lounges. Like I was at a lounge in Pittsburgh last week, and it was one of the Burn Lounges by Rocky Patel. Nice. And it's like a swanky kind of place. It's more like club environment. I could definitely see some cocaine happening at those places. Yeah, for sure. That's a cocaine style lounge.
Yeah, because it's
100%.
Like you think there's like a social status to cocaine usage? Like executives.
Yeah. C-suite for
sure. And then like meth is for like, you know.
Oh, meth's just for poor people.
It's just poor people. Yeah. But like, so like you've got a swanky lounge, and then you got like a hole in the wall lounge.
Yeah.
That's where you see meth.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, there's definitely different levels. And most of the people, like when we were at, well, they have a dress code to get into Burn. Yeah. Which they didn't, they enforce it more on the weekends than they do during the weekdays, but they have a dress code. And then most of the people are in there in like suits.
It's no decorative t-shirts. You have to wear like.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine that I was visiting in Pittsburgh he just had like a hillbilly hat on, and they walked in, they're like, and he had it backwards, and the guy's like, at least turn the hat the right side. So they made him turn it around.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is like on the weekends for sure, it's probably a bigger deal. And they tried to charge us a cover.
What?
Yeah, so they had like a $10 cover, and it's like normal for them, which I get it. So it's like if you're gonna go in there and like drink or whatever, and they have limited seats, they want people to go in there and smoke. So there's like a cover charge to get in Friday night, and we went there late. We went there like really late.
Okay, I get it.
And went there, and the girl's like, "We need to cut." She's like, "It's $10 per person." And I handed her my card. She goes, "Cash only." I was like, "I don't have that much money in cash." And I just pulled a fucking power move, which I never do. And I was like, "Listen, I'm about to spend $200 minimum in that humidor. You're gonna need to let me in." And she's like, "Okay." And that was it. And I did. I went hog wild. I smoked 2 by.
I have no doubt that there's. I wouldn't call them freeloaders, but there's those people that just socialize and walk around.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to buy anything. Because the thing is like they're making a ton of money off cigars. I mean, dude, they're so insanely priced. If you go into the humidor, it's like the Byrons actually weren't that badly priced.
Like they go in there and maybe like these people are expecting other people to buy their drinks or buy them a cigar.
There's definitely some hooers in there. Definitely a couple hooers.
Lahars.
Definitely a couple. I like this one. Some guy farting audibly and seemingly unaware, unperturbed by how noticeable it was. That shit's funny. So is it appropriate to fart in a cigar lounge?
Nope.
Openly?
Nope.
Why not?
Listen.
Too many flames?
That's a big old fart box, and there's a lot of flames around.
Yeah, but what about the idea that like
you've seen people light their
cigar smoke is so heavy and so dense and it's so pungent.
Yeah.
Would a fart, if not heard audibly, really affect your senses at all?
I think so. I think it would make me question, like if someone farted inaudibly, but I smelled it. And I'm smoking a cigar. And I know how strong my senses can be.
Sure.
Which improve the experience of smoking a cigar. It's kind of like eating a bad almond. You know when you get a bad almond.
Oh, yeah. One of those overcooked ones.
I would begin to question the quality of my cigar at that point. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this
interrupted
cigar?
by some other toxicity in the air.
Yeah.
I see what
because the thing is, it's still like when you go into a lounge, it is an unmistakable smell of cigar, tobacco, smoke, and tar.
Sure.
Most places.
Sure. So you're saying that a fart is so characteristically different that it would not only be so noticeable, but you're saying it could essentially affect and taint the flavor of the cigar.
Yeah.
Like you're sucking in someone's fart.
That's basically what I'm doing.
As you're puffing in, you're just like...
Yeah, most people go, ooh, and here it comes.
Everybody's going...
Here comes your fart cloud. I'm taking a huffing bunch of air. Basically, I'm sucking your fart
through the air.
Through the foot of my cigar.
Yeah.
Through my tobacco, all the way through it, superheated, supercharged, and then pulling your fart into my mouth.
And what really you could just do, you could just take one step out and you could just literally put your mouth on some guy's asshole.
I might as well. That is about as pure as it can get.
But you don't think that if properly filtered, that a filtration system couldn't get the fart smell out of there quick enough?
No. But I would say that this makes me question whether or not...
Oh, I have another question.
Yeah.
Here's something that may... This is something that may affect how torturous a fart could be in a cigar lounge. Mm-hmm. What is the density of a fart versus that of the smoke of a cigar?
I feel like smoke is heavier than a fart.
You think so?
But methane is a tricky bitch. Because of methane can sit at the bottom of an ocean. You know what I'm saying? So, there's something about methane that's real heavy.
Well, also, too, you've seen those infrared fart, like with those infrared cameras and someone farts, and it captures it, and it does kind of sit there for a while.
It doesn't just go
It is
up.
kind of heavy.
Yeah.
I wonder if their denseness is close. I wonder if we could look that up. We need a producer.
Air density?
I just want to go Jamie, like Rogan's Jamie.
Of a methane fart. Because
density.
Yeah. Because wait, what is this? What is this craziness?
Density. Wait, why are we doing watts per hour?
It's literally giving us facts about like running air filtration systems.
Is a fart more dense than air? Flatulence is mainly methane that is lighter than the average components of air on Earth. Oh, it's lighter. So it would dispel faster.
So I think heavier. What does that mean?
Wait, what?
See how that seems contradictory, what they said?
Yeah.
Chemistry of farts. The total gas the subject release ranges from... Okay.
It's super scientific, though, what we're saying. I just need to know
like,
how heavy is it in comparison to air.
How the main photo is Brussels sprouts.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, so I think methane has to be lighter than air, right?
Yeah. Well, helium. Hold on. Here's the thing. Regardless, I don't think it's wise to be farting in a lounge.
I don't know. The verdict's still out. Methane is lighter than air.
It is lighter. What the fuck?
It is lighter than air. So if it's lighter than air, it's less dense, then it's going to dissipate faster. It's going to rise faster.
Huh.
Right?
I guess. Yeah.
Cigar smoke we know is not lighter. Well, I mean, cigar smoke still dissipates too and rises in air. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're very similar.
Get like smoke and methane?
And farts. Yeah. Specifically farts.
I don't know, man, but I just know that. I think the last thing I want to be doing is sucking in your fart.
Yeah.
Some funnel.
I mean, especially too, there's levels to farts. You know what I mean? Like there are some really, really, really bad, dead inside, rotten intestine farts. I mean, some really horrific stuff.
Like, you farting around me while I'm smoking on my cigar, you might as well just hook a fucking oil funnel to my mouth and there's shit in it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yep.
That's grody.
That is true. I did want to go over our two stories. One that's a collective story, you and I together. But another story that I have that I experienced at the Cigar Lounge by myself. So I was in Chicago, and this was years ago, where I watched a guy get kicked out of a cigar lounge. He was watching a Bulls. It was the Bulls playing somebody. And he was like a couple of seats down from me and just got like really belligerent and loud. And I remember when one of the workers came out and was just like, dude, like calm down. And you could tell this guy went there all the time. Mm-hmm. They knew who he was. Just like, hey, Tony, shut the fuck up. Like, stop being loud.
Yeah.
You're disrupting everyone else. And then he started like getting real shitty. So then they had to kick him out. But the problem was this guy was fairly big and everybody who worked at the cigar lounge was not big. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to like pull this really heavy set dude out of the cigar lounge. And he's fucking throwing a fit and yelling and shit. And we're all just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on right now? Just literally, obviously drunk as fuck.
Yeah.
But it was really, and I've never seen, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anyone get kicked out of a cigar lounge before. As many times I've been to a cigar lounge. You had the guy pull a gun on you one time. That was interesting.
That's a story, yeah.
That's an interesting story, which we've told on the podcast before. But yeah, it's funny, like when you're sitting there and relative peace, mm-hmm. right? Like smoking cigars, like the most relaxing environment ever. And you're just watching this guy getting kicked out of a cigar lounge, like getting removed. I don't even want to say getting kicked out. It's not like they said, hey, so-and-so, like, please leave. You're being loud. It's like they had to force him out. Like they had to pull this fat dude out of the cigar lounge and stuff his fat ass through the door. And what seemed like a really long walk from where we were sitting to the front. And it's like, I've never seen someone actually have to be physically removed from a cigar lounge before. I've seen people been asked to leave like once or twice, which is whatever. That's whatever. But it's just funny to see that when you're in a cigar lounge where everyone's chill as fuck and there's just one guy just abruptly yelling every 30 seconds because he can't stand the fact that the Bulls were a shitty team at the time.
Yeah, not to mention, like, you know, most states, not Ohio, most states, I believe, allow alcohol selling and tobacco.
And BYOB is obviously.
So in a way, you know, you kind of get used to this idea that this like bar/lounge thing, but you know how it is. Most people drink more than they smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So
true. But this was a cigar lounge that just allowed BYOB.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, this was a regular. This wasn't his first time there.
Oh, he's a regular?
Yeah. They knew who he was. They treated him like he'd been there every day.
Damn. You got to respect your place, man.
Yeah, it's just that's kind of an interesting thing to see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a drunk dude. Whatever, that shit happens. It's not like the craziest story. I'm sure there's going to be once we keep going down the path of these stories and we really get some more feedback from people, I bet there's some crazy shit we're going to cover. Yeah. The weirdest one, which is both a story you and I share, is that we were at a cigar lounge. This was years ago. And we went, I think it was like on a Friday, like mid-afternoon. Mm-hmm. We went with a buddy of ours. And we get to the cigar lounge. And we notice there's an older dude behind us with like a young-looking girl.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
But not
it wasn't like young-looking girl like, hey, I'm a coworker. Or, hey, I'm your daughter. Or, hey, I'm a friend. I mean young-looking girl wearing fishnets.
Yeah. And not like classy.
No. Trash. Oh, dude. Yeah. No. You want to talk? Hey, we said meth heads earlier.
Yeah.
Definitely on drugs.
He looked. Well, I would say, one, you look at him and you begin to wonder, based on the dating pool, the gene pool, how in the hell did he end up with her? Because they seem like aliens to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, where in the hell did you ever meet her? And how the hell did you ever meet that guy?
Yeah. What happened? Well, when you pick up somebody on the side of the road, that's how you meet.
That's true.
Yeah. She was quite the looker.
She was.
And by looker, I mean, take the L and make it an H.
And she looked really tired. She's had a long day.
Yeah. He wore her out.
Well, not
somebody
else. Yeah, not just
multiple
him.
people. Yeah, and he's sitting there like buttering her up, like.
Oh yeah.
We were trying to listen into some of the stuff he was saying, but it was the typical. it was the typical like flex thing. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what I do for a living. And yeah, that's how I made my first $1 million. Like, it was like shit like that. We were like listening in, trying to like figure out what the fuck they were talking about. I can't remember.
Was he handsy with her?
Yeah. Oh, she was like sitting on his lap at one point. Yeah. Clearly a hooker. The people at Cigar Lounge knew she was a hooker because I talked to him afterwards. But what was interesting about it, the best part of this story is not the fact that there was a hooker in the Cigar Lounge. It was when she got up and walked away. She had tattoos. We noticed 2 very specific tattoos, one on one leg and one on the other.
On the calves.
Now, I thought about this earlier because I was reminiscing, thinking about this story and this moment in time of which is forever in my brain. And I thought, what if at some point she lost a leg?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That ruins everything.
That thing gets real fucked up.
It gets really messed up. Now, on one leg, which was her, if you're looking behind her, her left leg said Ruth. And then the right leg said less.
Yeah.
So when her thigh gap touched, it said ruthless.
Now, if she lost leg left and lost the Ruth, well, then she's less, which is appropriate because she's missing one leg.
But if the less is gone and it just says Ruth, you just assume her name's Ruth.
Yeah.
So then you got to change your name to Ruth.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense if you lose a leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw her walk out of the cigar lounge, her and her gentleman suitor.
And by the way, her fishnet stockings also had holes.
Oh, they were all torn up. Yeah. It looked like all the dicks had gone through those fishnets.
Yeah.
So we noticed that when she walked down, we're like, Jesus Christ. And the lounge knew too, and they were like,
wasn't she wearing a flamboyant dress? Like very bright colored dress?
Yeah.
I mean, she looked,
she's not like a high-end Vegas escort. She was, hey, I just rolled out of the trailer park, put my thumb up, and some guy found me.
Yeah. An executive.
Yeah.
At a regional bank.
Yeah. Well, and it was my neighbor. The twist on the story. Anyway, that's what we got for Cigar Lounge stories. Kind of pulled those together last minute. I thought some of them were definitely pretty funny. I think we can solicit some really fucking good ones. I know some other people's stories, but I want them to tell me so it kind of gives me permission to talk about it on the podcast. Sure. I don't want to just speak for somebody else if they don't want it to be out. Because there's characters in these stories, and some of them must be protected.
That's true. And I've got some small ones that we could probably share in the future, too.
They're
just odd. Like, you'd be like, how did that ever happen in a lounge?
There's definitely a lot of odd stuff.
Yeah.
I've been accustomed to, like, going to cigar lounges and getting in really dumb conversations with people that you're like, how am I ever going to get out of this?
Yeah.
Like, that kind of shit. But nothing too wild and crazy. Like, nothing super crazy.
Yeah. I'll just give you a short one. We got to talk to a person we know at our lounge via a video conference from him in jail.
Oh, that's interesting.
And we all did our rounds.
Oh, I didn't participate in that.
Saying hey to him.
Yeah.
From him in prison.
Hey, buddy. And he's just like, hey, guys.
Yeah. And he's telling us about prison life.
Dude, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah. We all like gathered around like this laptop. Yeah, he's out again. Or not again, but he's out. He's fighting the system.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, say no more.
But anyways, yeah. But this is like when would that ever happen?
It's like, hey, everyone say hi to Carl.
Carl in prison.
There's a guy with a fucking baton in the back just like,
time's up.
30 seconds.
Yep.
All right, let's conclude it. Sorry we didn't have an episode last week. I was in Pittsburgh. There's probably going to be a week or two coming up. We won't have another episode because I have a lot of shit going on and I'm going to be in different parts of the country at different times. So we'll try.
That's fine.
That's all I can say.
I'll be in Kentucky.
You should just do a solo podcast and see how that turns out.
I suppose I could.
You said that like an old lady getting ready to bake an angel food cake. You're like, I suppose I could. It's a little late. I don't have all the ingredients, but I suppose I could.
Yeah. She's still got a little bit of optimism left in her.
Jesus Christ. All right. This will conclude episode 241. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back. Oh, actually, real quick. So the My Cigar pack, Knockout, obviously Hot Ticket trilogy packs that include the Rival, the Knockout, and the Comeback. These are still out. They are selling quickly. People have asked how they get the individuals. You can't. You get the individuals through this pack. Otherwise, you got to be a subscriber to My Cigar pack. Last month's factory direct release was technically the last iteration, which is the Comeback. So the Comeback is now officially out. All three of them have been released and, of course, available in the trilogy pack. So you can go to cigaryard.com and you can find these. You can find these there. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the feedback. So far has been fucking awesome. So thanks for everybody who smoked them. I'm liking them more and more every single day. So thank you so much. We appreciate everybody getting on board with buying the trilogy packs. It's been pretty dope. So anyway, that'll conclude episode 241. We'll be back at you next week with episode 242. See you, everyone.